Darby from rejoiceandcreate.com. Thanks for stopping by today. Well, I have another box in my book box series, and this one was by request. And this book box was created to house an A9 card. Let me open that up, you can see. And for those of you like me that had to go look that up because I didn't know what an A9 card was, it is actually a 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, which is folded at half in the middle, and it creates a card that is 5.5 by 8.5. And the envelope that matches it is 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. So this is a pretty big box to fit this one in, and it can fit the envelopes and the cards, and it's 3/4 of an inch deep, so you can fit a few sets in there depending on how embellished your cards are. But this box itself is 6 by 9, so it will accommodate that. Now, if you don't want to do the A9 cards and envelopes, you can also do a sewing pattern and some fabric swatches for a friend who likes to sew, or you can do notepads and pencils and pens for someone who likes to sketch or to do some journaling or planning. But I'm sure you can find some other things you want to use this one for. But because it is a big box, it does take big pieces of cardstock. So this one's not one of the most efficient boxes, but I think it's a really sweet box. And just so you know, this is a retired paper by Stampin' Up. This leaf I got from the Dollar Tree, and they come in packs of 5, and they have orange and red and green, and I got the dark and the light burlap colors. And then I just punched some flowers and acorn punch. Those are all retired Stampin' Up punches, the triple leaf punch, and I actually, this little wire embellishment, I actually just pulled off the leaf because I have a wire right down the middle of it, and I just twisted it around a pencil to make a really sweet little embellishment. But let me show you what it is we need for this box. Okay, for the box itself, you need a piece of cardstock that is 12 inches by 10.5 inches. So you are cutting into a 12 by 12. For the back and the front cover, you will need 2 pieces that are 6 1/4 by 9.5, and I went ahead and rounded the corners on all these already. For the decorative mat on the front, you'll use a piece of pattern paper that is 6 inches by 9 1/4. For the inside pocket, which is this right here, and it is a pocket you can get inside of that one, you'll need a piece of pattern paper that is 12 inches wide by 9 1/4 inches, and we'll be folding that one in half. And for the flap mat, the mat that's right on the inside here, you'll need a piece that is 3 1/4 by 8 3/4. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the box part of it. Alright, so remember the box is 12 inches by 10.5 inches, and with the 12-inch side up, we're going to score it at 1 inch, 1 3/4 of an inch, 7 3/4 of an inch, and 8.5. Then turning the short side, the 10.5 inch side up, we're simply going to score it at 3/4 of an inch on both sides. Alright, so here's our box part. And let's go ahead and fold and burnish all the score lines. Okay, so we have the 1 inch section on the left. This flap is what we're going to attach the front cover to. And then this flap on the right is a little bit wider, and that's going to hold the cards into the box. So let's go ahead and start on the bottom of that part. On this 1 inch flap on the end, we don't need that, so we'll just go ahead and cut up and just neatly cut it off right inside the score line. Alright, that next little section is a flap cut straight up on the longer rectangle side and just slightly notch into the other side. Do the same with this little flap over here. Okay, and we're just going to repeat this on the other side. Okay, let's turn with that 1-inch flap over, because that's where our front flap is going to go, and we're just going to assemble the box. Just go ahead and place some glue on the inside of those tabs, and we'll go ahead and form that. Now I'm using liquid glue because I know once it's dry, even though I have to hold it, once it's dry it will hold secure. Okay, and I'm just going to clip these so they will dry. They will hold together while they're drying. Alright, we're going to move on to the other side of the box. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing on this side of the box, on these little tabs, put some glue on the outside, as well as on the flaps, on the tabs for the flaps, the long tabs. So we're going to put glue on all of these. Okay, so we are going to pull these little tabs in first. We're going to surround them with these flaps for the front flap, and then put those all over and put these flaps inside of the box, making sure your corner is nice and square. Now this one I'll probably have to hold for a minute because I can't really clip it, but it just takes a minute and then it will be secure. Let me do this one as well. Alright, so now I'm just going to get my bone folder and I'm going to make sure I tuck in those tabs, and I know you can't see this there, but I'm making sure all those little corner tabs as well as this whole flap is secured down on both the top and the bottom. Okay, so this is our box made. Okay, so there is enough room for it to get the card in. There's the envelope it fits in, as well as the card. It will fit nicely, have a nice room for an A9 size card. But if you wanted this a little bit shorter, you can do it maybe 11 or 11.5 instead if you wanted to move that back a little bit, if you have something bulkier that's going to go into it. But I was able to fit the sewing pattern as well as the notepad and the pens, pencils, and fabric in there as well with this width on it. Alright, so let's go ahead and put on our covers. Alright, so I have my two covers here, and these are both 6 1/4 inches by 9.5 inches, and I've rounded all the corners of it. Let's put the bottom one on first. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is on this left side, which will be like the binding for my book, that's where my covers will go, that's going to line up almost at the left side of the cardstock, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then the rest of it I'm just going to center top to bottom. And then go ahead and put your hand in there and rub it all down. Okay, so what I have here is I have it just almost right at the edge. I mean, maybe you can just barely see the lip of it over the top, and then the rest of it has about 1/4 inch margin around the outside of it, because I like the way it looked for a book. Okay, so now what we're going to do is to glue on the front. Now, because the front flap is only glued on this section, we're going to put some glue on that, and then we'll line it up on our front cover. Okay, again, so what I'm going to do is tip this up, and the score line right here, I'm just going to line up right over the side. And let me line that up, and I'll show you in just a moment. And fold it to make sure that we're all lined up else. Okay, so there's our book box, at least the bones of it, and let's go ahead and push that down. All right, one thing I should mention, if you want to do a ribbon closure like this one on one of my smaller boxes, you want to glue a piece of ribbon on that back cover before you glue that box in place. So essentially what you're going to have is you're going to have a piece of ribbon that's kind of glued underneath that box, and it will hold in the center. And then you would glue this one that underneath the pocket before we glue the pocket on. So you'll have ribbon on both sides, be able to tie it on the inside. You could also close it with Velcro dots. You can do that at the end, but I'm going to show you how to use a magnet. I'm using these, which are large magnets from Basic Gray, because this is a big box, and on my other one, because on my other box I used a smaller magnet, and it does hold. I can feel it catching in there, but it's just the one right there. Maybe I would do 2 smaller magnets, but I'm going to try one of the bigger magnets, and we'll see if that makes a difference. All right, so I have a set of magnets. These are the bigger ones. As I said, the large ones from Basic Gray. And let me go ahead and put one on here first. Stick it right here, a little bit in the center from top to bottom. But enough room so I can glue my mat over it so it will cover it. Okay, so the magnet doesn't slip. I'm just going to land a glue dot right on top of it when I put my mat on, so it will hold it in place. And let me go ahead and glue this on. I'm going to use liquid glue for this. Okay, so go ahead and put your hand in there and sandwich it between there so you can make sure that it sticks on there. And especially right through here, I'm putting my fingers under there so I can press all the way around the magnet and get the paper to stick so it holds the magnet in place. Okay. Put it right where it should be, and I'm going to go ahead and close my book so it lines it up. Okay. And then just go ahead and press that down, and while I'm here, I'm going to throw a glue dot on that one too, just so it will anchor it when I put my paper on. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and prepare our pocket. This is 12 inches by 9 1/4, and I scored it right in half at 6 inches. And now you have to decide which side of your pattern paper that you want to show for the pocket and which side for the reveal. If I fold it like this, then this will be the reveal like this. Or if I fold it like this, then this will be the reveal. You'll see a lot more flowers and a lot less of the pattern. I think what I'm going to do, because the pattern, the flower is going to show on all the rest of the spots that I put the paper on, I'm going to let the pink part show on the pocket part of it. And then we'll just have a pop of flowers when the corner is pulled back. And I'm just going to eyeball it. But I am going to flatten it so the box will close better. Okay. I'm just going to use a dimensional to put right on the corner of that and fold it over so it stays down. And then I'm just going to go ahead and round all of these corners because I like the way the rounded corners will look, and it's going on the inside of the cover, which is rounded. Now the last thing we have to do to our pocket is to actually make the pocket. And what you need to do is to put glue down the side and across the bottom. You can use 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape down across, but I'm going to use a thin line of glue. All right, now that we have our pocket done, let's go ahead and glue that on the inside of our front cover. And make sure that that's holding all the way around. So we have our magnet, holds it together. All we have left now is to decorate our front part. Alright, so our mat for the front is 6 inches wide by 9 1/4 inches tall, and we're going to go ahead and glue that on as well. Okay, so that's our box made. Let me tuck the cards that I made into it. And this is an A9 size, so it's an 8.5 by 11, scored in half to create a card that is 5.5 by 8.5, which is a pretty good size card. Now it's up to you how much you want to put on as far as embellishments and sentiments, anything you want to put on in there. I'm going to go ahead and just decorate the front a little bit, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I just decorated using some of the cutouts from the paper pack that I used, and for those who are interested, it was Wildflower from Die Cuts with a View, and I've gotten it at Hobby Lobby, although they also had it at Michael's. But I think it makes a beautiful presentation for a box, and yes, it will fit the A9 cards and the envelopes that go with it. So I hope you enjoyed the project and give it a try. It is a big box, so it does use a few pieces of cardstock, but I think that the final outcome is well worth the effort and the supplies that go into it. If you like the video, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to be notified of new videos as I upload them. For more information on these projects and others, please visit rejoiceandcreate.com. And as always, until we meet again, I hope your days are blessed. Bye!